In black and white, Viola Desmond. On a cold, dark night, while I was driving around New Glasgow, my car broke down. It puttered and smoked until it stopped dead in the middle of the road. The night air shocked my lungs as I ran to the local garage. I had to get a tow, but as you will see, that would be the least of my worries. The repairman rolled up his greasy sleeves. While my black hands were covered by white gloves, his white hands were covered in black oil. It made me wonder what difference it made at all, whether we were black or white. I pictured an onyx with the layers of color all mixed together. He interrupted my thoughts. "It will take a while, miss. No use hanging around here for nothing. Why don't you go see a theater or something? Should be done by then." "Thank you, sir. I believe I will. I could use some entertainment right about now." I stepped out into the thick night air. The world was mine for one moment. I was a free woman to do anything I wanted. No more obligation or requirements. There was just the place I was looking for. The sign read Roseland Theatre. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I was going to see a movie. "One ticket, please." I found myself a seat on the main floor. The lights dimmed, the curtains were drawn, and it began. For a few minutes I sat comfortably watching the picture show, until a bright light glared in my eyes. It was the manager's flashlight. You belong up there," he said, gesturing to the balcony. "Blacks sit in the balcony while whites sit down here. I can't see from up there, and I paid to sit here. This seat was empty, so as long as I'm not bothering anyone, I intend to stay." The manager did not take my reply well at all. He stormed off and returned with the policeman. They grabbed me and tossed me out into the street like an ominous black stray. My knee and hip throbbed with pain after I hit the pavement. I thought they would slam the door on me and leave me to die out in the cold, but they did something much worse. The cop arrested me and locked me in the slammer with criminals. The jail cell felt cold and clammy. It stunk worse than the factories in the city. It was filled with at least half a dozen men. I tried not to look. I tried not to count. I closed my eyes, and my back stiffened as if I were tied to a tree. I felt eyes burning through my soul and disgrace breathing down my neck. A man unworthy to be called even that sat next to me and rubbed a piece of my dark hair through his white fingers. He sniffed it and whispered something through his crooked teeth. I couldn't even hear him. My greatest fear was of being harmed. I prayed to God for his protection. I pushed aside the terrible thoughts that threatened my composure. I knew I must not sleep that night. I sat there till morning came with my gloved hands clasped tightly in prayer. My heart was cold, and my body froze like a marbled statue gazing from behind black bars. The rest was a blur. Prison doors swung open, and I was taken to court. I was charged a fine of $26 for dodging taxes. Turns out I was supposed to have paid a penny extra for being black. If I couldn't pay the fine, I would be sentenced to 30 more days in that wretched prison cell. I paid. But I wanted to scream out, yell at the biased judge. What have I done to deserve this abuse? Because I am a black woman, say it's because of my color. I felt like a black crayon trapped inside of its box, and on the other side of me was labeled the word Negro in fine print. But no one would admit the obvious reasoning of their accusations. The truth was ignored. The doctor who helped me with my injuries to my hip and knee suggested, along with my friends, that I fight for my rights. I did so in the Supreme Court. Nothing changed. I was still guilty. I returned to Halifax with my husband, but he couldn't see my side. He thought I was making a whole lot of hullabaloo over nothing. He already hated my success in the salon, and without his support, the distance grew between us. Our marriage failed, but what I had started would not. Something had ignited a spark inside of me that cold, dark night in New Glasgow, and it was spreading quickly. There had been no law against my ill treatment, therefore all the wrong done to me was justified. I was the one who had stepped out of line. Things had to change, starting with me, and they would. With the help of NSAACP, the Nova Scotia Association for the Advancement of Coloured People, and many others, including Carrie M. Best, Perlin Oliver, and my lawyer Frederick Bissett, racialism in Nova Scotia finally ended in 1954. No longer could black women be imprisoned for stepping out of their place in society. Segregation was abolished in Nova Scotia, and we became a part of Canadian culture instead of being outcast. I had made a difference without even planning to.